our social media friends.
I was like, there's no comments. That's unusual. Maybe it's a quiet night tonight. Nope.
There we
It
go.
was actually just the stream not being on. So there we are. People can probably hear us now on Facebook, and they'll trickle in over the next couple of minutes. But we were just small talking about the weather. We're pretty good at that, being meteorologists. The hairdresser hates to see us coming.
Exactly. It's like being with us is like riding in an elevator, and it's like, oh, how about that weather?
Yeah. Oh, do you want to know more about it? We could go for 30 minutes, 40 minutes. We'll see what tonight goes. It could be 7 o'clock.
Yeah, but as we were talking about, the weather was very nice today, milder. We did see some clouds for sure, though, across northwest Florida, so that was something. This is our first show of 2026, as we were talking about. Yesterday, we took kind of the day off. We both still worked. We just didn't do a live show. We watched... did some updates and posted stuff to social media and watched a little bit of football too as well.
And I was busy yesterday. A lot of new members of the National Weather Network were getting underway. So the Arkansas Weather Network, their channel looks fantastic. I finished that one before noon, which I think was my deadline. So I snuck it in there. It was like a college project getting submitted at the deadline. Mike Collier launched in Oklahoma, kind of soft launched on New Year's Eve, but he is up and running. And we're also going to make Nick Pittman's stream, Nor'easter Nick. It's going to be real pretty by the end of this month. So a busy New Year's Day, although it was kind of just a Thursday for me. Not much of a college sports fan anyway, unfortunately.
Yeah, and we today it's been fairly quiet, but the story will be tomorrow will be that chance of thunderstorms. Tomorrow late morning into the afternoon hours, there will be a risk of severe weather. I don't think it's going to be a significant event, but I do think, especially up across the I-10 corridor, like Holmes County, over into Jackson County, Southwest Georgia, Tallahassee, might have a slightly better chance of seeing some bigger thunderstorms than, say, what we will down along the immediate coastline. So that's going to be kind of the weather story as we head into tomorrow. Kind of we'll dive a little deeper into that, talk about what is in favor of severe weather, what is not. And then also the weekend forecast, which the weekend forecast is, 50-50 right now. Saturday, obviously the storms, but then Sunday actually looks to be pretty decent across our area. So high temperatures today did climb up 60s and 70s across our region. So finally warming back up after this cold spell across our area. As we take a live look outside right now, some folks out swinging away there on the swing there in front of destination Panama City, looking across the bay. Temperatures into the low 60s right now. Over into Destin, you're looking at cloud cover that's increased there. You see a little bit of a breeze there on Old Glory down there on the waterfront from the atop the Glass Bottom boat tour ride. Winds are fairly light southeast at 3 miles an hour. And over into Panama City Beach, a little bit more comfortable this evening for the bonfire compared to what we were looking at. What was it, 2 nights ago? I guess it was the night of the 30th. It was really cold, and there were a couple bonfires, and I'm not sure about that. It was really, really cold out there. And then we've seen red flags hoisted on our area beaches because the Gulf is going to get churned up. It was a little churned up today, but as winds pick up out of the south tonight and tomorrow, that's going to get the Gulf pretty churned up there with chances of seeing showers and thunderstorms. So there you go, live Doppler radar, mostly quiet, but there you see, if you look carefully down over into South Walton and Destin, you can see a couple returns there coming in on the radar, and those are just a few spritzes of rainfall. And we're going to keep the rainfall chances fairly minimal, stuff like that tonight. And then as we head into tomorrow, we'll start to increase those rain chances across our area. The bulk of the rainfall up to our north, places like Birmingham and Atlanta having to deal with the wet weather. Nashville's wet, Memphis is wet, up into Florence, Alabama, Tupelo, Mississippi, all dealing with plenty of wet weather. So, kind of a 10,000-foot view here of the weather for across the tri-state region. Georgia, South Carolina, North Florida, Southern Alabama have what's known as a marginal risk of severe weather. That's that darker shade of green, and that is a level 1 threat. So it's not terribly high, but it is a possibility. Now, as far as the threat of tornadoes, it's not particularly high, just a 2% chance, and that's mainly east of Highway 331. So 331 east over towards Tallahassee has a 2% chance of seeing a tornado within 25 miles of where you live. Wind threat, 5% chance, and that expands across the entire Panhandle from Tallahassee over into Pensacola. Hail threat as well, so not to be kind of lost there. But what we expect is the storms will kind of increase in intensity as they make their way east towards Jackson County, the 231 corridor, and then over into southwestern parts of Georgia. So, Dan, you want to take it through and walk people through the timing of this?
Let's jump right in on that. Of course, this line of storms, or at least cluster of storms, obviously we're not expecting much organization, but a lot of popcorn activity off and on, widely scattered in nature, and then maybe a little more organized as the heating of the day continues and we get later into the afternoon hours. But I was going to get at little unusual because usually we deal with a lot of overnight activity, but it seems like here at least it's going to take some of that heating up throughout the morning hours before we see some of this activity become more robust and intense. There's still a rain chance though as you wake up for your Saturday. Obviously just a couple of small cells out there popping up on the Futurecast modeling here. They're in and out of your neighborhood quite quickly, but coverage increases as the day moves onwards, and now we're into the afternoon here. And turn your attention right up towards I-10 there, because obviously we're starting to pick up on a little more intense activity up towards Defuniak Springs and Bonifay, and then up into the Wiregrass region as well. That activity continues working its way eastward, and that seems to be the pocket in which we could see some of the most intense activity. My coastal friends, obviously still a rain chance out there. I'm just not seeing a whole lot in comparison. As far as the intensity of the storms, it does look like the further north you get up towards the tri-state into southwest Georgia is where the activity has been kind of pinpointed here from most of our computer modeling as being the hot spot for most of the intense thunderstorm activity. But obviously still a last hurrah for everybody. It looks like towards the end of the daylight hours into the evening, a brief little line passes back through towards the south, that riding along the frontal boundary that's bringing us the lift and the rainfall, and we'll wrap it up shortly before you head to bed tomorrow evening. So temperatures right now, we're continuing to sit right up there in the 60s at the moment. Compared to last night, it's an improvement. Feeling pretty good outside. 5 to 10 degrees warmer than 24 hours ago, and dew point temperatures are on the increase as well because of those south winds. And this is one thing that's feeding in a little bit more moisture as we look into the evening hours tonight. We saw the return of cloud coverage late in the day as well. It's a light south wind, but it's certainly doing some work on the atmosphere, and it will continue through the overnight hours tonight to 5 to 10, briefly picking up to 15, nearly 20-mile-per-hour winds up towards Inlet Beach. Inland areas, you're not going to hear things rustling around as much. It's the open, frictionless water of the Gulf that's going to see some of the stronger winds onshore, but everybody looking at just breezy conditions there. It's not going to be the worst of the winds that we've seen, of course. And then within thunderstorms, you could see those winds briefly pick up more so. That seems to be one of the primary threats as we talk about that marginal risk for severe weather. Very quickly, though, you see that front passing on through. Here's tomorrow evening at 7 o'clock at night. You already have a northwesterly wind sliding on through, and that will be the sign that the front is passing, and any risk of inclement or bad weather, as you might call it, will have come to an end. So tonight's evening planner, temperatures kind of bouncing around through the upper 50s, warming just a bit before sunrise tomorrow. At least that's one of the slight trends we've been seeing. Low temperature just after midnight, and that south wind continues and we feed in moisture and warmth out of the south. Temperatures actually creep up by the time the sun rises for the start of the weekend. And of course, Chris, I think that's the end of our graphics here. So we will be continuing to watch throughout the course of that time frame, not just for the potential for severe weather, but I think a good helping of us will see just some much needed rainfall. Obviously, we kind of made some progress towards the middle of December, kind of canceling out those drought conditions, but we didn't completely rid ourselves of it, and it's been dry since then. So if you don't get the severe weather, the positive thing is another quarter, maybe a half an inch of rainfall if you're lucky. I'm sure that will be a welcome sight for most across the area.
Yeah, I think 1 inch is going to be like the high end, and that's if you get into the bigger thunderstorms. But most of us are going to be in that quarter to half inch, so not a whole lot. Let's see. We had Lori Scott said a night inside the closet. No, you don't need to spend the night in the closet tonight. It's going to be, it'll be fine overnight. The bigger stuff doesn't come in till well after, I think, daylight tomorrow. So you can rest easy tonight. Let's see, who else do we have? Tammy, good evening. Tisha Wilkerson. Let's see, Lewis.
Lewis was asking about a brief forecast for Millbury, Mass.
Let's see. As a matter of fact, I have it right here. My goodness, it is. It is cold. Let's see, 20s for tomorrow, lows tonight in the teens, and then looks like we're going to, let's see, stay mostly precipitation free. There is tomorrow night a chance for some snow, but it's like less than an inch of snow possible. And then after that, it's basically just temperatures, but Monday only a high of 22. Good gravy. So, yeah, good.
Hard pass.
Yeah, really hard pass. Let's see, Melissa.
Sharon's checking in from Greenwood. We have Tabitha here from Mariana. Nice. Mariana, one of the spots I think we need to be a little more weather aware tomorrow evening, Chris, as that storm system kind of tries to consolidate towards the end of the daylight hours. Bring in the house flags is what Becky was mentioning. And any inflatables you still have left up. You don't want those to become your neighbors for next Christmas. Probably a good idea to just move those inside just to be safe. Not everybody going to see the severe weather, Chris, but most of us will think this was a total bust and that nothing actually went on, which is a good thing, of course. But for the select, maybe 2 or 3% of the area that kind of do see those stronger thunderstorms, it will be good to be prepared.
Did I just say snow? Yeah, for Millbury, Mass, not for here. No snow for us, but
one can hope, Chris.
Yes. We're going to take a little deeper dive, step you through the threat of severe weather tomorrow, look at some of the parameters and where those come together as far as the tornado risk and stuff like that. And I think that will help show you why this isn't necessarily like a major event. But rest assured, we'll be here to cover it regardless. It doesn't have to be severe to get you through it because we know those thunderstorms, like what's going on out there? That's what we're here for. We're going to be here to let you know what's going on. But we'll talk more about that, have the rest of your weekend forecast, and a lot of us heading back to work next week. I have that forecast for you as well in just a couple minutes.
For decades, I've taught you everything I know. How to safely build a fire, and how to control the flames. But I can only teach wildfire prevention. Only you can prevent wildfires.
Your piece of land demands the very best equipment. Kubota equipment. The #1 selling compact tractor in the U.S. with professional-grade mowers, versatile sidekick utility vehicles, and compact tractors that get it done right. All backed by unmatched dealer support. Talk to your dealer today to schedule a demo.
Toyotathon is on at Panama City Toyota,
where you can get 1.99% APR on a new Camry and get $500 in holiday cash. Get 3.49% APR on a new Corolla and get $500 in holiday cash. Get 1.99% on a new Tacoma, plus $1,000 in holiday cash. And 1.99% on a new Tundra, plus you'll get $1,000 in holiday cash.
Shake up your holidays at Toyotathon.
Now, from your trusted team of meteorologists at Panhandle Weather, this is your evening forecast update.
And good evening, meteorologist Chris Smith here, and Dan Nyman joining me as well this evening from his house. let's, you see, this is my dad. My dad took this picture this morning.
Oh,
And it's kind of like,
at that.
this is like kind of what we talked about. There was like a period of sun, then it got kind of like cloudy and dark, then we saw sun, and then now it's cloudy and dark once again. This is from my dad over in Santa Rosa Beach. Charlie Wooten in Calhoun County looking east. We had gorgeous sunrise this morning. And then the Upers over on Panama City Beach looking to the west. And this was that period where we saw the clouds move out. We got that kind of clear spot for a little bit, but then you look out over across the horizon and you can see the clouds approaching once again. David Wesley then showing us the clouds that increased just by sunset. And then up into Calhoun County, Charlie Wooten sent this in just a few minutes before the show this evening of the rising full moon there in the eastern horizon. It is the Wolf moon, and unfortunately because of the clouds, we're going to be a little limited in being able to see it, but you can see technically it is full at 4:02 a.m. It is a super moon, so it might appear slightly brighter, slightly larger. But that occurs tonight. Now tomorrow night, it's still going to be spectacular, and I think maybe the clouds will hopefully will start to thin out a little bit, give you at least another shot of seeing it tomorrow night. So again, the full moon rose at 5:18, and it will set at 7:55 tomorrow morning, and it's as full as you're going to get, just about 99.4433%. Let's see some more. Thank you so much. Was that snow for us? No, Ruby. See, this is where you get into problems. Anytime you say snow, you like everyone's mind, they just kind of lose it. And then they're like, snow? What? Snow? It's going to snow? No, that was for Massachusetts. There's no snow here in Northwest Florida. JD, is rain going to affect golf at St. James Bay tomorrow? JD, you will be, I think, for the most part, fine. There will be rain late, but I think you'll be able to squeeze in that tee time. Let's see. Jolie Owen. Sneeds. Sneeds, yes. Sneeds, Jackson County, you're in that kind of threat area that I think your chances of severe weather are maybe a little bit higher than, say, what they're going to be at the coastline. It's not a guarantee, but it's something that we're going to be certainly watching. Now, as we look this evening at live Doppler radar, you can see a couple showers sneaking on in this evening, a couple sprinkles over into South Walton. My son was riding his bike, came in and said, "Dad, there's sprinkles on my bike." And check the radar, and there you go. More persistent rainfall to our north. We'll see our rain chances gradually ramp up by tomorrow morning, and then the chances of storms by later in the morning into the afternoon hours. So we still have a good bit of time. So here's what's happening. Saturday, scattered storms may be severe. It's, again, not a great chance. It's a level 1 threat, but still. Clears out Sunday. It'll be less humid, but Sunday will be the nicer of the 2 days. It will be a little bit cooler, though, Sunday compared to Saturday. And next week, we'll have mild weather and mostly dry weather. Not a lot of rain in the forecast next week. So let's talk about those temperatures this evening. Notice the temperatures actually will go up tonight. That's because that southerly flow from the Gulf increases, and so that will bring in the moisture and cause the temperatures to begin to increase while you're sleeping. And then you start to see the chances of rain and maybe a few thunderstorms as early as tomorrow morning. But it's going to take some time. There you see the southerly winds tonight, fairly light, 5 to 10, a little bit stronger to the west. And then as you're sleeping, those winds continue to pick up as we head through Saturday morning. Notice by mid to late morning, the inflatables that you left out past New Year's are starting to take a trip down the street there, as winds will be up there 10 to 15 to maybe as high as 20 miles an hour. So that's something just to be aware of, that it will get pretty windy. And then as quickly as the wind picks up, it dies down tomorrow evening and turns out of the north, and that will usher in that cooler, slightly drier air mass, slightly cooler and slightly drier air mass as we head into Sunday. But it won't be anything significant, and you'll see on Sunday winds will blow out of the north at about 10 miles an hour, and it should be a pretty nice day on Sunday, and then those winds die down by Sunday evening. So when we talk about rainfall chances, notice again, 5 a.m. really low at 20%, but then we jump up by 9 o'clock up to 70, 90%, and then tomorrow evening we drop down back to 20%. So the rain chances go up, and then the rain chances go down. So again, there's your marginal risk of severe weather across from South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama into Northwest Florida. But specifically when we talk about the threats, and Dan, you made this graphic, so I'm going to let you walk everyone through what you see on it. If you need me to take control and kind of step it, I can do that. But I thought you should go ahead and talk a little bit about what we are seeing here, because it's a lot, but guess what? We have plenty of time to walk you through it and explain it.
Yeah, Chris, you'll have to give me a phone call back here really quickly, but I'm happy to walk through what's going on with this setup for severe weather. Obviously,
hey, Dan, go ahead
we're talking
and
about
turn
a
on your
marginal
mic.
risk here, and a lot of times when we're talking about marginal risks, it can be a little misunderstood that everybody's going to deal with that threat for severe weather. But if you could see here, I have this looping graphic now, and I'll pull that up full screen so I can pull my mic up here. You got
Hey,
me
Dan,
there?
if you can hear
All
me,
good?
go ahead
Give me a
and
thumbs up, Chris.
your mic.
It looks like we're okay here.
We'll see it. Give us just a second here. Hey, Dan.
I think my mic's working just fine.
Is it?
I think so. I think it was the hung up.
Oh, got it. Oh,
So-
that's exactly what it is. I'm
Yeah.
sorry about that.
Chris, I pulled it up full screen. You couldn't see Chris waving his hands. He's like, your mic isn't working, but we're all good. So we'll dive back into this graphic now. And you're looking at a lot here, so it's worth taking an extra second to just dissect all the different parameters. You have your shear swath here. Think of shear as just your rotation, basically. And then you have hail, obviously. Everybody knows what that is. And then your wind swaths is just your damaging straight line winds. You get this yellow color here. It's not quite severe, or 58-mile-per-hour wind gusts, but it is certainly enough to be unsettling if you're caught underneath one of those thunderstorms. The first thing you'll notice here is probably this region over in towards the tri-state, looking at Jackson County, northern Liberty County, into Gadsden County, and over towards Tallahassee as well. That kind of is the primary area where ultimately there does appear to be a slightly higher risk of seeing some thunderstorm activity that could be on the stronger side. So if you're going to pinpoint a spot tomorrow where I think weather awareness is important, it's right there where you're seeing the collision of some of those yellow colors with straight line winds. There's some light dots of pink there, maybe some hail. Small hail is a low end probability, but there's certainly a chance of seeing that within some of the most robust or well-developed thunderstorms. You even have a couple of those little slithers of green, little shear indicators. Now, shear isn't going to say, hey, there's going to be a tornado here at this time tomorrow. It's just an indication to us that the atmosphere might be a bit more primed for seeing rotation or rotating thunderstorm. And when you talk a little more about the risk of tornadoes, I think the better chances increase as you move towards the north, up closer to where your low pressure system is, and there's certainly better dynamics as you get in across parts of central Georgia, and that's why you see all these little green traces left behind. Those are the shear swaths or areas of rotation left behind after those thunderstorms as you track this out over about 18 hours. You get into the heart of the Panhandle, there's not a whole lot going on down towards the coast. It's mainly up here. I'll draw across I-10 for reference, that you see maybe a slight elevated chance of seeing some active weather or a little more thunderstorm activity that could be on the stronger side, and definitely north of I-10 as you get up across the Florida-Alabama line over into the Wiregrass region, or especially into southwest Georgia if anybody's watching from places like Bainbridge or down Chattanooga in Florida itself. I do think there's a slightly higher probability of the strong storms being in your neighborhood. If you live at the coast, you might not look back at this event tomorrow and think a whole lot of it. You might have thought those guys were all hype and there wasn't much going on, but that is the expectation right now for coastal communities. Maybe a quick rumble of thunder or two, obviously a couple of instances where you saw a quick blip of some pinks down there, so some tall thunderstorms could be possible closer towards the coast. It's just not the spot where I think things are going to be most active. Once again, I think that is closer towards Tallahassee, north of I-10, into the collision or the tri-state where Georgia, Alabama, and Florida meet up into northeastern Jackson County. That's probably the best chance for our coverage area in the Florida Panhandle to see any active weather tomorrow. And of course, if we do see it, we will be here covering it. That has been our pledge since we launched in October, and we expect to continue that onwards tomorrow with as much coverage as needed as these storms move through. And you'll see they move through quickly. That front passes through over the course of Saturday quite fast, and shortly afterwards, we're looking pretty good across the Panhandle. Some lingering cloud coverage. It doesn't take long for those winds to shift back out of the south, and we get socked in with cloud coverage by Tuesday. Much quieter weather, though, settles in by that point. So for East Point, I see a question about that in the chat. East Point looking pretty good right now. The dynamics are certainly not there compared to places to your north. Go 50 or 100 miles towards the north, things look a lot better for seeing severe weather. I'm not going to say, though, there won't be thunderstorms, just a little closer to that typical summertime variety of thunderstorms that you get through all the time. They're in and they're out, and life moves onward. So it should be a decent day towards the coast. It's really those inland spots. We'll play it again with the Futurecast without some of the frontal features and a little more zoomed in view here. You see scattered showers, a couple of pop-up thunderstorms through the morning. Coverage increases throughout the day, but it is not a washout sort of Saturday whatsoever. You get good breaks and periods of time throughout the day on Saturday where nothing's going on. It's just cloudy, humid, and somewhat warm outside. It's really back into the western Panhandle. We get things started across I-10, look towards Milton or Crestview right afternoon. You get a little more organization with that line of thunderstorms, and it basically rides along I-10. Obviously could shift north or south by 10 to 20 miles, so if you're in places like Vernon or over towards Youngstown and Bluntstown, this could change. It could be a little further south, or inversely, it could be basically everybody south of I-10 gets through this and says, what happened? You guys completely were wrong and there was no bad weather. That obviously is a good outcome, but small changes here with that line as it moves towards the east will make the difference in what we see and what we cover versus what goes on in South Alabama and Southwest Georgia, where comparatively there obviously are much better chances of seeing a strong to severe thunderstorm materialize. Little wave on the back end of that as the front passes through, so still kind of an encore round of rainfall as the model's picking up on here towards the end of the daylight hours, early evening as you get in through Saturday night, and then shortly after that, like Chris was talking about for seeing the supermoon, we could still have some cloud coverage to deal with, but it'll try to work its way out of the Panhandle over the course of tomorrow night. So your severe weather threat, a marginal risk, level 1 out of 5 for severe storms covering the Panhandle, but again, better chances comparatively inland versus the coast. When you talk about the specific hazards, you have to go a little further east to see a tornado threat. This is a 2% chance of a tornado within 25 miles of any location. So pick a spot. I'll pick, say, Bluntstown right here and draw that on the screen. Within 25 miles of that, and that is a guesstimation, maybe a little too big of a circle there, Chris, you could see a tornado enter that. There's a 2% chance within that circle. So these are low chances. We're talking about 1 or 2 thunderstorms out of the whole batch that have a chance of becoming feisty at all. You talk about the wind threat. It does extend further towards the west. That is because of that line of storms that you saw developing back towards Milton and Crestview right after noon. You could start to see them take advantage of the heat we built up through the morning. Of course, temperatures rising pretty much from midnight onwards tomorrow. The warmer things get, the more unstable the atmosphere becomes, and we're able to take advantage of that with some stronger thunderstorms throughout the day. So your wind threat and your hail threat kind of painted across the entirety of the Panhandle. Your hail threat, again, we were seeing some dots of pink there when you saw the conglomerate of all those different parameters, looking at shear and looking at the hailed swaths from our in-house model. But again, the probabilities that we were looking at were in that 10 to 20% range. It's a good idea to move the car into the garage. I'm not going to say, though, that you will see any. Just don't be surprised, especially up towards I-10. We are into that kind of wintertime part of the year where upper air temperatures are cold. You get a thunderstorm that grows vertically quite significantly. Those water droplets will freeze and be a little more capable of forming hail this time of year than what we see during the summertime. Let's get into the details of rainfall. Of course, everybody needs it, and we have a good chance of getting some. About a half an inch towards the coast, and a couple of spots where those thunderstorms are a bit more punchy. You could get upwards of 1 inch of rainfall. I wouldn't expect that on a widespread scale, but certainly isolated pockets could get up towards 1 inch of rainfall. That's both our in-house model, and then of course, when you talk about the chance of rainfall, planning out your day tomorrow, look at tomorrow morning. 80-90% chance across northern Walton, Okaloosa County. You get down towards the Forgotten Coast, it could be a long time tomorrow before you see those first droplets of rain. It certainly starts back towards the north and west at first, and as the day moves onwards, here's 10:30 in the morning, you see the chances into the heart of Panama City and on that 231 corridor. Kind of round one there with those scattered to isolated cells popping up ahead of that developing line itself. And then as the day continues, rain chances tapering off. We'll just be watching up towards I-10 for that lingering rain chance before your front ultimately passes through. Could take a little while, but rain chances after 7 or 8 o'clock tomorrow night, we're already seeing those drop down to that 5, 10, 15% range. So put that into human words. It's not impossible that you see rainfall after the sun sets tomorrow night, but certainly it will be a lot more unlikely. And by the time Sunday rolls around, here's Sunday morning, midday, afternoon, you saw play through. Not many of us are going to see much more than some of those sprinkles that Chris's son was talking about getting on his bike out there just a few moments ago. So temperatures tonight down to about 50, 58, 59 degrees inland, a few cooler spots in your typical cool spots to the north and eastern part of the Panhandle. Down towards the coast, we're holding on to the 60s. Things feeling pretty good for the morning, feeling even better for the afternoon for my warm weather lovers. We're back inside for the 70s, and of course, it's probably going to be one of the warmer days here before that front passes. We'll reset just a little bit for Sunday with temps down to the 40s and 50s, but it won't be a significant cool down compared to the past few that we've seen. Just kind of getting closer once again towards seasonal average. So Chris, of course, will wrap up that rain chance pretty quickly for tomorrow. It really is just one day for the weekend that we'll be talking about it. And then after that, rain chances tapering off briefly. We could see towards the end of maybe next week, return of some isolated activity. And as we get in towards next weekend, maybe slightly increasing chances, but not a whole lot compared to what we're expecting for tomorrow.
Yeah, it's going to get pretty warm this week as well. I mean, I don't know if we'll touch 80, but like inland areas will be well up into the 70s for sure as you make your way through the week. Now, you see that warm weather that already today you felt it. We saw it kind of spill off towards the east with those rainfall chances increasing across our area. What we're going to be seeing here, this is in the upper levels of the atmosphere, and I want you to pay attention out here to the west. There's like a little trough, a little bump right here, and that's going to swing to the east, okay? And that is your system for tomorrow. So that's where the lift is coming from in the atmosphere to get those thunderstorms going. And then after that, that moves off the east coast and quickly look what builds back in. This ridge of high pressure, and that's going to allow for temperatures to warm up as we head on into next week. And you see how this ridge really begins to build over our area with a big trough out here to the west, but at least through Friday, it's pretty much bottled up to the west with this ridge holding on, at least for the time being. So we'll have to kind of watch, you know, when this thing undoes and races to the east, that could bring us another round of active weather across our area. So that'll be something just to kind of watch for. But for the time being, it stays west, and that just means we'll stay warm and humid and mostly dry. You saw we had like 10 and 20% rain chances late next week. So this weekend, 70s for Saturday, but again, we have that chance of showers and thunderstorms. 60s on Sunday, things begin to clear out. So Sunday will be the better of the 2 days. But as Dan mentioned, it's not like all day tomorrow is a complete washout. We'll see temperatures over the next 7 days. Coastal locations, 60s to near 70. Inland areas will be right around 70 to the upper 70s. Possible as we head into next week. Low temperatures will bounce around a bit, but we'll be mainly into the 40s and 50s inland and 50s to near 60 degrees along the immediate coastline. 7-day forecast. Showers and thunderstorms again likely for your Saturday. As we head into Sunday, we'll see a mix of sun and clouds, and that'll be the theme over the week ahead. It's not going to be a completely cloudy week, but we'll definitely see a mix of sun and clouds. Pretty nice weather, 60s again for the coastline. There are your low-end rain chances towards the latter part of next week. But all in all, temperatures going to be very warm next week. Well above average. You see that average high is 63, 75, 77, 77, so you're 12 to 14 degrees above average for inland areas as we head into next week. So again, just to kind of Dan walked you through there is that, the severe weather threat tomorrow isn't zero, but it's not great. And of that, it is on the higher end towards the I-10 corridor and lower end down toward the beaches. But I mean, that can all shift just a little bit. But you saw that map that Dan had made, and you saw the hints of stuff going on was primarily up in that Jackson County, Gadsden County, Leon County, Holmes County corridor, and you didn't see as much activity down along the immediate coastline.
Yeah, it's Christina here, for example, asking about Compass Lake. I think that's kind of right on the border of where I'd have a little extra heightened awareness for tomorrow. Panhandle weather app, I think, is what we would probably tell you to download, but any way that you can to have watches or warnings come to your phone, alert yourself and your family. Compass Lake, if everything were to line up north of where models are putting it, and obviously models are not gospel, they're just a general idea of what could happen. If they were to line up a little further north of where they are right now, you wouldn't see much of anything. You'd get through the day and be like, oh, that was nice to have some rainfall. But obviously if things shifted south 5-10 miles, it does put you a little closer to being within that area where you have the straight line winds, you have a potential for hail. And it's probably a good idea to be weather aware because of that. But even Compass Lake, I have a couple of friends up there as well. They were asking me. I feel okay about the day. And obviously you'll have time, being a daytime event, to plan for it as things develop to your north and west.
Yeah, you'll be able to kind of see it coming, if you will. This isn't going to be one of those overnight events where you're, trying to sleep, not sleeping, that kind of thing. This should be a daylight event, and we'll be able to see as it unfolds, and we'll have complete coverage of it, watching it as the thunderstorms move across our area. So that'll be kind of our focus tomorrow. And if you're concerned about it, you can watch us, and if not, you don't have to. We have the app. So even when you're on the go, we're the same broadcast that you guys watch right now is going on the weather app. As well, right there at the top of it, and we encourage you to download it. Get the alert notifications. You get the ones that tell you, hey, it's going to rain in the next 5 minutes, but also you get the severe weather alerts as well. There's a thunderstorm warning, a tornado warning, things like that. Hail producing, I've seen that one as well. You get alerts if there's a storm producing hail that's approaching your location. So that's all in the Panhandle weather app. And so I encourage you to download it if you haven't already, or let your friends know to download it. Certainly appreciate it.
I'm always impressed by that Panhandle weather app. Obviously have it on my phone. The API that it pulls from for those severe alerts, obviously we get chats from the National Weather Service as well. And it always comes before the chat from the National Weather Service. So they hit button, the metaphorical button, and press send on a tornado warning, it comes like that. Yeah. It's right there. It is just about as fast as you could hope for, other than having a crystal ball tonight and being able to see the future. I had a question from Jessica about Bayou George. I think Bayou George is feeling pretty good about what's going for this evening, or tomorrow, I should say. Obviously, some rainfall out there. You could hear some rumbles of thunder, but it's not really in that peak area that we'll be watching for the strongest activity. Give that touchboard a tap really quick before it goes black, Chris.
And somebody was asking, too, about Springfield, which...
Oh, my neck of the woods.
Yes. So
I'll be outside tomorrow morning washing cars. So that's a good indication of how I feel about tomorrow in the Springfield area.
Well, I know your car will go in the garage, but the missus, you're just going to let it get rained on right after? Mm-hmm. It's fantastic.
It's no sports car. It could be in the rain.
Oh my goodness. Let's see. Will there be an effect on flights at ECP? Let's see. ECP. I mean, there could be some. Probably the bigger effect would be like what's going on in Atlanta. That would affect those flights that kind of come back and forth tomorrow. That would be something that I would be probably more concerned with. And if you see on this graphic
Tallahassee tomorrow night, maybe.
Yeah. Tallahassee tomorrow, like afternoon, evening.
Afternoon.
Pensacola should be fine. But I think the feeder airports are probably a bigger concern, like Atlanta, with those storms than necessarily the impacts that we'll see out of our airports. So, okay, Bob, you're very welcome. Christina, you are welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. Jessica, we got your question about Bayou George, and Christina at Compass Lake. That's what we're here for. I have a whole update just dropped onto the channel, so those will be running here as soon as we bow out. But we'll send out a push notification when we start our storm coverage tomorrow. We'll have fresh content on in the morning as well with the latest information. Because again, this is weather. It's not gospel. Things can kind of ebb and flow a little bit, and that severe weather threat could maybe drift a little bit north, or it could drift a little bit to the south. And so we'll keep you updated as how that evolves as well.
Yeah, we have a fun 24 hours. It's been a long time since we've had any thunderstorms, really, Chris. So obviously most people don't want to see those, but for us it is kind of exciting, and obviously it's nice to be able to provide a helpful service to the community as well. Tyler jumping in the chat, looking forward to the first chase of 2026. I know Joseph Price might have commented on my Facebook earlier today. Sounds like everybody's going up towards Sneed's Chattahoochee area, ready to mobilize and maybe move a little further north tomorrow to catch some lightning photos. So that'll be a fun way to spend Saturday if you're into that stuff. For everybody else, they'll probably be like, can this end? The DirecTV signal's out and we have football on.
Yeah, exactly. And tomorrow's Saturday. There's NFL tomorrow too, isn't there?
Probably. We're into that weird time of year.
Yeah.
I think your team's playing tomorrow.
No, we don't play till Sunday night. We got optioned to
the other divisional matchup
the Sunday
is
night
tomorrow.
game. Yeah.
It's the Bucks and the Panthers playing for the 4 seed. So that'll be good.
Yeah. So that's where they stand, and hope everyone has a good evening. But you can rest easy tonight. There's nothing to worry about. It'll be daylight before we start seeing any weather, and we'll start off with some spotty showers, then a few storms. But the best stuff is when I say best, like the biggest storms, probably late morning into the afternoon hours.
All right. I think we'll wrap this up here. I haven't seen any questions recently, but a lot more coverage coming over the next few days. Thanks again for stopping by tonight on this Friday. We, of course, have live shows next week, every night of the week. No holidays to bow out on this time, so we're back into the routine all week long.
Y'all be good.